Hi, it's Jackie Mumphrey, the Mableton Real Estate Maven, and I am back. I wanted to talk to sellers. If you're thinking about selling your property in the upcoming market, and you're kind of contemplating, should I sell, should I not sell, because we're going into the fall and winter markets. A lot of people ask, can I sell my home in the wintertime? The answer is yes, you can. Most sellers, when they decide to sell, often traditionally will put their house on the market in the spring, summer, or very early fall. And you do have a lot more buyers that are going to be looking in those months because that's traditionally our selling season, especially here in Georgia. In some resort towns or vacation towns, it may vary a little bit depending on, where in the United States or where in the world you are. But here in Georgia, the abundance of homes sell between April and September. But I will say this, when you do decide, if you decide to put your house on the market in the winter months, and the winter months are November through February, you're typically going to have less buyers, but you'll have more serious buyers, because let's face it, nobody ever moves in the wintertime unless they have to move. So you're going to have a much more serious buyer, and that actually is going to be a benefit to you for two reasons. One, the buyers that are going to come see you are typically more serious buyers because they have to move rather than just wanting to move and just tire, kick, and shop. The second reason is because those buyers usually have a very finite time to buy, in which they need to buy before the end of the year, or they need to buy before the end of the month, or they've got to buy before the next semester in January starts for their children, or whatever the case may be, because they have a job transfer at a particular time. And there's people who just do not want to rent. They will not rent, so they have to buy. So the good thing about it for a seller who's thinking about selling their home in the dead of winter is that you have less traffic, buyers who are more serious. And the third benefit is that during the holiday season, people tend to follow those trends as well. So you're not going to have as many showings. You're in a holiday season, so you can still, have your parties and have people over who will visit. And typically, too, so another thing that people don't realize is that homes actually show better to a lot of buyers in the winter time. No, you don't have the flowers and the begonias and things are out of bloom and things, but your home is typically decorated for Christmas or for the holidays. It's very festive, it's very warm, and that attracts a lot of people. So yes, there's benefits to listing your house during the spring. The downside of listing your house in the spring is that you're competing with every other seller that wants to buy in the spring or wants to sell in the spring. And then those buyers, once those sellers sell their property, they typically become buyers, and then they're competing with all the other buyers during the same selling season. So selling your house in the wintertime, like I said, gives you less buyers, but they're more serious. They have a more finite time in which they have to be somewhere. They're more motivated, and your homes absolutely look best when they're nice and festive and they're warm and they've got the sense of winter, like pumpkin pie and ham and all these great warm feelings of home. And you also tend to get more of an emotional response, I find, with my own buyers when we're out looking in the wintertime, because they can see themselves home for the holidays. They can see themselves having dinner in their brand new dining room that you've had custom paint work done and things like that. Or they see themselves with their children tossing a football, in the backyard after the fall leaves have come and turned. And so don't feel as if this is not a good time for you, because the best time to sell is when you need it to happen. Waiting for the spring could be beneficial for you. It just depends on what your particular needs are. Don't be discouraged by the market just because you're going into the winter months. There's 5 things that you should do in order to prepare your home for selling in the winter months. Number five is to make sure that the property is staged. And that includes doing the minor fix-up and deferred maintenance that you may have had. A lot of sellers kind of get lackadaisical and just leave it up to the buyer and leave it up to chance, I say, with the repairs and things that the house may need. They also leave it up to chance that the house may or may not appraise. So those five things are: make sure that the house is staged. And that includes taking care of the deferred maintenance. If the leaves need to be cleaned from the gutter, do that. If you need touch-up paint, do that. If you need to declutter, now is the time to do that. Buyers do not like seeing homes that are cluttered. They do not like seeing homes that look dirty or smell dirty. So take care of those issues before you even have a realtor come and look at your property. So stage your property and fix the repairs. That's one. Number two, when you're preparing your home for sale, make sure you have a schedule in which you are going to have the home available. No one likes to see the house in the dark. No one likes to see the house when they're cold. So if you're going to be out of town and things, get with your realtor or get with someone who can come and kind of warm the house up. That kind of goes back to staging a little bit, but it kind of warms the house up. Make sure it's tidy, make sure it's clean, and make sure it's welcoming for those buyers. Number three, get an appraisal on your home. Yes, the real estate agent is going to give you a long sheet of paper of comps. Like, these are all the homes that have sold. This is the high, this is the low. You're somewhere in the middle. Where do you want to be? And you throw a dart at the board and kind of figure, hey, that's going to be my price. I need to get, X amount of money because this is my mortgage, and, this is how much money I want to make and put on the next house. You really need to get the house professionally appraised and have it offered to the buyer as part of the paperwork that you're going to be giving them when they come and tour the home and make buying decisions on it. And that's going to be your seller disclosure statement. That's going to be your homeowners association documents, the covenants, all the other associated documents that your agent will have you sign so that you can give to any prospective buyers. One of those should be your appraisal, because it'll have the house measurements on there. It'll have all the way to the penny the value of where your home should be in the current market, and that's going to be comparative to homes that have sold usually within the previous 6 months that are the most similar to yours. Most appraisals, roughly, we call those fee appraisals because they're not associated with a loan. Most of those are going to be around, in the Atlanta market, around $400 to $500 for your average, 4 or 5 bedroom, 2-story home in Buckhead or whatnot. You're going to be looking at about that price, and then they go up or down ranging on the appraiser. So you may want to ask around, call your favorite loan professional or your real estate agent. They can definitely get you in line and get you in touch with an appraiser. So make sure you get the house staged, make all the repairs, get the house appraised. The second thing that you should do is, when you're about, or if you're thinking about putting that house on the market, determine where you want to be next. Because a lot of times sellers don't prepare for that. They just say, hey, let's put it on the market. Let's just see what happens. You never know. You might actually get a buyer in 2 weeks that wants you out of the house in 2 weeks, and they're wanting to pay cash for the property. Find out what your next step is going to be, so that when that time comes and you found that buyer, you have plans and things in place. What I find to be a very interesting scenario is when my sellers occasionally will put their house on the market and they just say, oh, let's see if we can get the price. If you have a real estate professional on your side like me, I'm going to do my best to get the house sold, because that's what I've been hired to do. So when we go and procure a buyer and they're offering your price and you turn them down because you haven't decided where you want to be next, you've basically have given up your buyer. And it takes time to orchestrate this sales process. Sometimes you might find a buyer in a day. Sometimes it might take you 90 days to find that buyer. But when you find that buyer who's hot, ready, willing, and able to pay real money for your home, and you have not figured out what your next step is going to be, you may lose them. And that may be the buyer that would be willing to pay the most, for the property on your most agreeable to your terms. We do find that real estate agents will say, and some sellers believe it, some don't, but it's actually true. Typically, your first 1 or 2 offers you get on the property are going to be your highest. Why? Because they're the first, and buyers typically who have been looking in the market right before yours came on, they may have missed some other opportunities. They may have, shopped for a while and they finally see your house on the market. So it seems like it's a real big hit, and everybody wants to see the property. Part of it is the market. Part of it is your real estate agent. Part of it's the pricing. Part of it's the photography. Part of it's the staging and the availability for people to see your home. It's all kind of a mish bag of different things that help orchestrate and get a deal together. You have the other agent, if there's two involved, you have the other agent who brought the buyer to the property. The stars and the moon were all aligned in the right place. You had the fresh scents in the home with the cookies baking, and all the lights were on. And then you say, you know what, they gave me exactly what I'm looking for, but I don't know where I want to go yet. So let's see if we can get the buyer to hold off. Well, you'll lose them. So you want to make sure you have a plan in place. And then the other thing that you want to prepare for with selling your home in the winter time is making sure, like going back to what I said, that the house, all the repairs have been made, that the property is staged, looks good, smells good, you gotten rid of all the clutter, you gotten rid of all the leaves out of the gutter, you want to make sure you got your appraisal, you want to make sure you have a place to go. And then the last thing that you really, really want to pay attention to is making sure you have a real estate agent who is available to service your needs during this time. A lot of agents slow their business down. They go out of town. They may leave assistants for you to work with, or another agent to cover them while they're gone. And no one's going to really know your house as well as the real estate agent that you've been working with. So make sure that your plans are in line with the plans of the real estate agent you plan on working with, because the real estate agents do matter. A lot of people treat real estate agents as a commodity. This one will charge, this amount of money. This one charges this amount of money. This one's full-time. This one's part-time. Or this one's a friend that I know, or a friend of a friend, or a friend of a manager. You want to make sure that the agent that you pick is the right agent for you. Yes, we all use MLS. Yes, we all know how to stick a sign in the yard and put a lockbox on the house. Yes, we all know how to do a lot of things because that's what we're trained to do as real estate agents. But where the value comes in for you for selling your property, especially in the wintertime, is to make sure you're in line with the person who you hire. And that you also educate yourself, and that's the sixth thing, is educate yourself on the market and where you need to be. A lot of that's going to, be based on the appraisal and the comps that your agent gives you, but really get an overview of what's going on in your market. Look at the market traditionally for your type of home in the last preceding 5 years. And granted, there are a different market. That's a different, there's a lot of volatility in the market since we had the downturn, but you want to look traditionally as to in the last 5 years of what happened or what transpired to homes that are most similar to yours. Start with homes in your subdivision. If your home's not in a subdivision, start with homes that are the most similar to yours in size, in age, and conditions. There's going to be a bunch of different things that affect the value. Mainly it's location. Second is the condition. You may have hardwood floors and the next house doesn't, or you might have mahogany cabinets and somebody else has cherry. Those things kind of are taste specific, not really adding value, heavy market value to a property. It's just something that makes it look nice and adds a little bit of a provenance, so to speak, to properties to make houses a little bit more appealing than others. But typically you want to make sure you're comparing properties that are the most similar. They're not going to be exact because no two houses are. If you've got a custom home that's $10 million, there's typically not going to be any other house that's like it because you built it that way so that it wouldn't be like other houses. But you've got to have an understanding for homes that are most comparable or most similar as to what's transpired in the last 5 years. So it'll help you plan how to sell your house or how you're going to sell your house in the winter months. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions about the value of your home or your area, or if you're even looking to purchase a home, feel free to give me a call. I do cover the Mableton market pretty extensively, and I do also sell outside of Mableton. So if I can be of service to you, visit the website below at gotmableton.com. That's www.gotmableton.com, or call me at the number below. I'm here to help you when you're ready. Thanks for watching, and hope to speak with you soon.